I remember when you contacted me and you pitched like this idea, right? And then a couple of weeks down the line, we're sitting here, but I remember clearly you saying people just share what they've done well, and it makes success feel like an overnight thing. And I think we have got to be good enough that we have success stories we can share, but we've got to be brave enough to share our failures so that we can actually connect with people well. Because I feel like people connect with failure way more than they can connect with a success story. Success stories are inspiring, but failure can drive you. It's way more authentic. I see you agree with that, Ray.
No, jeez. I mean, you guys are getting me fired up now.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Beyond the Brand, guys. This is our first launch episode, and what we want to do in this episode is just introduce the hosts. This podcast is all about exploring the stories and strategies behind successful brands and the people who build them. And I think it'll be far more engaging for you guys and an easier way for you to connect with us as hosts if you know who we are and our backgrounds. I'll start off by introducing myself, but I first want to just let you know about the other two hosts sitting with me on the podcast. We've got Nicholas Curle from Nucleus Vision Digital and Design. They are 3D design specialists. It's not as simple as that, and I'll let Nicholas get into that in a little bit. And then we've got Rey from DigiNauts. Super keen to hear your guys' stories and the lead up from your idea to starting an agency and how it's gone so far. But maybe while I've got the spotlight, guys, I'm just going to jump in and introduce myself. My name is Ryan Bosma. I am the digital content manager now at DigiNauts. And what we offer is basically 3 video products that are 3 video styles. So we've got doc style, curated content, and scripted videos. And each of those styles can be produced in short form video content, promo content, and there's one other. Sorry, it eludes me. But that's what we're working with now, and we basically got a really streamlined... Oh, and digital advertising. Sorry, that's where Rey came in. So our third video product is digital ads. But in a nutshell, our department has pretty much around 10 years experience in video production. And I have basically been in the video production space for around 7 years. I studied at Vega, a brand strategy and brand building degree, and together with my now wife Grace, who studied multimedia communications essentially, and she specialized in video production, we, after around 6 months, quit our jobs, and with the help of Rey, actually managed to land our first retainer clients. When you land your first client, you think you made it, and then you kind of need to educate yourself on all the business runnings and how things actually work, you know. But that's where we started. And fast forward around 7 years, we were filming and producing content. We were filming and offering photography. So those were our 2 main services. And I would say over the course of around 3 to 5 years, we completely dropped photography. We specialized in video. And then a year or 2 after specializing in video, we positioned ourselves as digital creators and specially becoming an agency partner, right? Because we knew there were lots of agencies out there that had a ton of clients, and video is this highly technical service offering. After positioning ourselves as a production studio, as an agency partner, we started working very closely with Rey, and then eventually our studio and his agency, we collaborated. Our partnership was going very well, and now we run the multimedia department within DigiNauts, and it's called DigiNauts Multimedia Productions. And it's been a crazy journey, but up to date, that's where we are right now, using AI, crazy technology and software. And I know, Rey, you can talk about that because you wearing the founder hat, I don't know how many hats you got, but I know there's a ton, and I know video was something you love to do, and that's actually something that we connected on really well. Nick, could you introduce yourself, man, your agency, and
Ryan,
what's
man,
up?
I think you introduced that perfectly to Rey. Rey's got to go next, man.
Okay, Rey, why don't you jump in?
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so where to begin? Started straight out of school into online, which was quite a sort of lucky, fortuitous thing that happened that I wasn't really aware of at the time. Very sort of humble beginnings. Started in the warehouse packing boxes and doing labeling and all of that stuff. And yeah, running around the storeroom, ended up getting into some of the online platform management and just learning the e-com landscape from the legal framework, mostly on the consumer side, so not actually the business legal framework, but just like how to operate with products and goods through e-commerce, and picked up my BCom degree in marketing. I don't know exactly why I went into marketing. I think it's probably because I felt like it would be an easier degree to do, and I just wanted to have something to my name. I didn't really know that I wanted to go into marketing. And my uncle, who was a CA, the day he basically qualified as a CA, he went into the music industry. So I had this idea that it didn't really matter. As long as you have applied yourself in a tertiary sort of manner, that would count for something. I know the world we live in today, it's counting less and less and less for something, but this was some time back now. And then eventually I joined Orange Telecoms, which is the big French telco, state-owned telco, very prevalent in Africa and Europe. And they also had an e-com division, so I was kind of plug and play. I could go straight into that. And then my manager at the time asked me if I wanted to get into digital marketing, because digital marketing drives e-commerce. It's like the blood flow to the heart. And again, it was like another inflection point where I didn't realize I was falling into something a lot bigger than I understood. I think for me, it was the right choice. Being in an agency is ultimately a really good fit for me. And from Orange Telecoms, I realized corporate landscape's changing a lot. The whole concept of a lifelong engagements at the golden handshake seem to be really being pulled at all ends by social, political, economical forces. And I was like, I need to kind of get into my own thing. So I kind of shacked up with my then girlfriend, my now wife, Kate, and she was an art student, very creative. And I was like, okay, like, we're kind of technical, we're kind of creative, we're kind of marketing, and let's start doing digital marketing. And for like 2 years, we were just playing. We were doing free work for people. We were working on evenings and the weekend. Because I still had a job, I couldn't just jump into it. And that was a decision that I'd made. And it gave me this sort of peace of mind that I could play and build up my service capabilities, my service capacity as an individual, because there's a whole lot of skills and mindset stuff that comes into the fold, whilst having the security of a job. And Kate didn't have a job, so she could put a lot more into it during the early stages. And I mean, it was pretty extensive, going out there and saying to people, hey, we'll do work for you at no charge for 2 years. And we got to cut up, we got to cut our teeth really fast. And yeah, a beautiful thing happened after that. We had a portfolio, we had goodwill, we had people talking about us. One thing led to another. And then we had a period of growth where we started actually getting retainers that paid us money. And then we eventually started bringing people in. And now we're at the point where we have departments around things like performance management or performance services, which is Google, SEO, all your ad tech stuff, creative and design around brand development, web design, web development, all the stuff that, is foundational for you to have your performance work. And then video production, which is what Ryan and Grace are heading up. And yeah, I have a deep passion for video myself. I run around with a camera and do my best every now and again. But they're the real professionals. And we're chugging along at the moment. The economy's in a weird place, but we good. Some of the things we're really proud of is we have virtually no client churn and virtually no churn of people in our organization. So very relationship focused, very people centric, client centric, and I'd like to think we've got good culture, and we give people room to breathe and be themselves and just show up, every day, the best version they can be on their terms. But of course, we're an agency. Clients have demands of us, and somewhere in the middle between fantasy and reality is where we like to operate. That's the story from our side.
Thanks, man. That was great, Ray.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Cheers.
Man. So cool. Yeah. I think my sort of track is also very similar to yours in that I think the marketing space sort of sucks you in. Started off actually studying electronic engineering, so totally out of marketing. So really the ones and zeros in electronics and engineering side, and was very blessed to have a godfather who was running a rock climbing business, and he was like, "Look, I'm working. You need to I need someone to run it for me." But it really gave me you're talking about cutting your teeth on what a business looks like, even though it was quite small, what that looks like in terms of, cash flow and having to manage stock, doing every single part of the business. And from there on, I kind of decided to move on to try and move back into the electronic industry, where I ended up in the security industry for 10 years. I worked my way from technician through to sales director just before I left.
Damn.
And looking after...
That's climbing the ladder, Nick.
Yeah, yeah. I must say, I've always prided myself in the fact that I drive really hard, like just do whatever it needs to do to get it done. And so within the first 6 months, I was still a technician. I mean, I didn't know much about the company. And I was walking the passages late one night, and I saw the CEO's door, or at least there was light in the CEO's office. So I went to knock on the door, and I said, "Listen, can I come and sit down?" It was like, "Sure, not a problem." And the conversation ended up with me telling him I wanted his position in 7 years.
He can take it, I guess he could take that two ways, hey?
Exactly. Luckily, he took it the better way, and he was like, "That's great. Let's help build and grow you." So I was very blessed to have mentors along the way. So Ray, you talk about sort of, those little guiding lights along the way, or inflection points. That was certainly one where huge respect for the man. Really gave me a lot of his time and guided me through the first couple of years. I thought I knew what I was doing, running a one-man business, and now we come into a 300-400 person business. And then thereafter went overseas for a couple of years. So spent some time in Amsterdam, near where you are, Ray, with business. Went back into the cash management business, so predicting cash at certain points with a set of software, and then came back to SA, short stint in the lighting industry, and then walked into WHAM, which was the precursor business. We still have WHAM running. We're in the precursor business to Nucleus. Walked into WHAM at the end of 2018, and sat with one of the directors there and said, "Look, you guys are in physical marketing, so WHAM is in physical marketing, exhibitions, retail spaces, the design and implementation thereof," and said, "Look, let's see what we can do with this business. Let's see what we can turn it around." And in a year, we quadrupled the revenue forecast. And then our dear friend pandemic happened. And we went from quadruple all the way down to about, I think, 10% of our revenue for 2020. And at end of 2019, I just bought 51% of the business.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing to buy a retail business was absolutely phenomenal. So literally bought 51%, and end of March, the business tanked.
Dang.
You sort of see your investment go up in flames. Through that whole period, we as a team stuck together, respected everyone, obviously gave all the options that were there in terms of how to look after one another, supporting each other with tours and things like that. That business is still sort of struggling, based on coming out of COVID, but really beautifully So we'd started the digital arm of the business in 2019, and we then extracted that into Nucleus. So we now have a separate business, Nucleus Vision Digital and Design Legends, and that's really the business in which we've taken most of the team members. So the team's always first. That's like a core fundamental within the team, is the fact we look after the team first. Because if we look after the team, you look after one another, automatically you can look after the clients. And once you take care of clients, automatically that looks after the business, which then looks after shareholders. So that whole, we've kind of turned that triangle on its head, where shareholders first, client second, or client is king. It's a slight morph on that.
I feel like there was a Richard Branson quote somewhere in there.
100% right, yeah, 100% spot on. Yeah, exactly.
I heard it.
Yeah, indeed. And we live that. We live that every day. And we're very blessed to have a team which takes care of clients from a strategic point of view. I believe we have one of the best strategists in the country with us. She's absolutely amazing. Takes care of clients from a strategic point of view and a creative strategy. And then that morphs into the graphic design team that we have. And then naturally from graphic design then goes into production, into project management. We have a web development team as well. We have a 3D development. Ryan, you spoke about a bit earlier, 3D development side as well. Okay. And we've partnered with the DigiNauts team largely for that paid media side, because we really respect your guys' strength in the marketplace. You spoke a bit about AI, Ryan. We're sort of implementing that and integrating that properly into the agency at the moment. And it's just super exciting times.
That's awesome.
That's
Nick.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing,
Nick.
man.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate the sharing.
Really interesting story and pathway there.
And I think this, I'd like, if you don't mind, I just want to kind of talk to this relationship. I think the one of the reasons why the three of us are kind of together, and I'd like your guys' take on it first. Actually, I'd like to throw it to you guys. Like, what's the reason why we came together for each of you? Like, that's super fascinating for me. Ryan?
So, like I said in the beginning, right, when we were still in our independent production studio, Grace and I, we positioned our studio as an agency partner, and I was just fascinated about creating great relationships, like agency to agency relationships, right? Almost using our competition, finding where we can add value to one another, and then strengthening our service offering to go to market with. And it was just a crazy idea. And when I found out it actually worked really well, because we started connecting and reaching out to, like, for those of you who don't know, who is everybody listening except Ray and Nick, I reached out to Nick through that like marketing outreach on LinkedIn, directly connected with him. I was like, what's up, Nick? This is what we do. You told us what you do. And that conversation was excellent. It stuck in my mind for a long time. And look where it led, right? That's kind of like the short version of it. And I don't know, just reaching out to agencies, I feel like, and speaking to, because I have connected with a lot of agencies. I've forgotten the number, but it's a lot. And every single agency offers something slightly different, slightly unique. The culture's crazy, but that pressure to get a creative, like that creative performance that you need to achieve to have a happy client and something super unique that's sellable, it's just like, it's almost magical to me. I love seeing, like, look under the hood, seeing what's being done in the background. And each team, each agency brings something completely unique and crazy to the table. And having us three talking about what we do and almost maybe revealing a bit of our secret sauce and our processes, I'm hoping will attract other agency owners and people in the creative industry into these conversations. Because I can be captivated by anyone who is passionate about what they do, and they would like to share what they do. I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but when someone loves what they do, they talk about it in a way that you just love to listen, because it's like contagious, right? So that is my hope, and that is why I think it's exciting for us to be together, because I'd like to attract more people like us into these conversations, just get the message out there. What about you, Ray? I really love that question, Nick. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I don't know if I can top your delivery there, Ryan. That was
it was good. It was good.
it was good. It was really, really like felt it coming through authentic and genuine, and you're doing it for all the right reasons. And I mean, you know, we're in the same company together, so we're aligned on these things. And just another example. So I won't go into the reasoning why, because I think, Ryan, you've said it best. But I'll tell you just how effective it is. So the relationship we have now with you, Nick, and already the things it's led to, we connected with another agency owner from South Africa who's recently moved to the Netherlands and to Amsterdam, where we've also moved and set up offices. Again, creating that relationship and starting to, you know, just flirt with certain ideas and certain opportunities. And it's already led to some very interesting things in a very short period of time. So this type of almost organic, but sort of process-driven digital marketing, cold outreach, the correct content, strategy, communication, really does lead to some interesting outcomes. And I mean, we run this for a lot of our clients. And I mean, just yesterday I was at a call. You know, we don't always get the opportunity to get this kind of feedback from certain clients. Some clients, in their CRM systems with them, we're seeing their return on ad spend, we're seeing their sales, we're seeing their leads, we're seeing their sales pipelines, and we can correlate everything back to campaigns we've built, things we've done with them, for them. And certain clients, it's a little bit different. You know, you run their stuff, but they don't let you right into the engine room. And for one of the clients we've been operating with for a while, we just found out from one of their directors that they closed or about to close a massive, massive deal. It's in the tens of millions. And they traced it back to one of these sort of campaigns that we're talking about now. So
that is incredible.
Yeah, the stuff works. And, you know, you hear a lot of people say, oh, my digital marketing doesn't work. And I know the cliched response is, oh, you're not doing it right. But that's true for anything. Absolutely anything under the sun. And I'd say every time we get into an engagement or an opportunity, we're always nervous. We never know what's going to happen. But consistently, the thing that never ceases to amaze me is that with the correct amount of experimentation, iteration, application of creative thinking and exploring with the digital toolkits that are available, there's normally a breakthrough moment that will happen sooner or later. And this is maybe something we should maybe chat about as some more of a dedicated session, a future session, is really working through the client's mindset, expectation, and experience that they run through or go through when they work with agencies, and the different types of agency styles that will result in failure or success. And given that there's a good product market fit, if you've got a very bad product market fit, well, you can throw as much as you want at the wall, nothing's going to stick. But if there is something about the product service that in most cases it's really difficult if you're introducing something like a new concept.
Right.
I'd say that's always a big challenge because you don't know yet. But if there's a business that is existing, it has a track record, we've found almost without exception, by going in there and doing things the way we do it, we've been able to create value. And so I think it's also important for businesses, and I know this show is really going to be directed towards other creators, other agencies, people in our industry, creating as much as we can, a little bit more community, a little bit more interest, a little bit more IP. I'm also interested to speak to business owners through this format that we're working on together, just to help them, bring them a little bit more into our world, so maybe they don't feel as lost the next time they work with an agency. All they know what to look out for and what to avoid and what to run towards when they're exploring working in all the stuff that we do.
Onboarding an agency one-on-one, the do's and don'ts.
We in the knowledge economy now. You know, the top guys out there are all knowledge brokers. It's great to have a business. It's great to trade time and services and products, and you can do incredibly well. But the content game's where it's at, and brokering knowledge is where it's at. And most of the knowledge now is free. It's up for grabs. And the guys that are doing it really well know how to monetize it in a way that the transaction happens at the point where the customer is, they're way past convinced.
They already buy into the product or the service or the culture. They're loyal and they love it.
Yeah.
And they're in. They want it to be a part of their lifestyle, their learning.
Exactly. So I think we all have the opportunity, and if we're taking on this challenge, the responsibility to really not mess people around, give it to them straight, the way we see it, at least from our perspective, because I know, you know, the reality we exist in is not always perceived the same way by everyone. But at least within our capability to be as honest as we can about what we're seeing on the ground level with our clients, with the industries we serve, with the products, the services, what's happening in AI. And I think it's a really special place for us to occupy. And I do hope it does bring growth for our companies, but I also hope it brings growth for the people that engage with us. And it has to be symbiotic like that. So those are just some of my wishes and hopes for Beyond the Brand. I hope that answers your question.
Oh man, that's beautiful. I mean, you guys really nailed it.
Maybe we should ask you the same question. Sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead.
No, I appreciate it. I think you guys have hit two very sort of different sides of the coin, and it's really so nice to hear that drive. For me, there's been a desire, like an internal desire to give back. I've been in this industry. I haven't been in this particular industry for very long, but you know, been serving in businesses and serving teams for a very long time. And Ray, to one of the points you made, is really to give back. It's you know, there is knowledge out there. Share it at the point that it's happening. And I think coming back to that honesty point that you had is, you know, share it as it's happening, or share it as it comes out. Naturally, with respect to clients that obviously we're dealing with, you obviously always have to be careful there. But you know, share it as it happens, because there's so much movement in our space. You refer to AI. The ground is you know, let's show the floor is lava. Things are moving. It's moving fast.
Yeah.
And I think for us to serve, as you said, Ray, the business owners, marketing directors, and guys like that who, team members like that, who really need to understand, you know, what's happening without having to go, because they've obviously got so many responsibilities themselves, to really understand what's happening at ground level with agency. We have so many clients come to us saying they've been burnt, and that's one of the worst situations to have, because, you know, almost working through that PTSD with a client and then showing them, you know, the fact that obviously marketing has a runway, and you need to just sort of ease them into that runway. But as you say, with consistency, with creativity, and really with serving the client's needs, as you say, provided they're serving a need in the marketplace, you know, there's always those consistent results. And that's what's really, really beautiful, and really sort of, you know, gets the hairs on my arm standing up, is seeing how clients succeed. And that's what's really beautiful about it. And I think pulling that through this show that we have now is we then are able to give some of that back and share some of those experiences so that other people can take them and push them forward. And I would love to hear, you know, as the show really gets legs, to get to hear and understand how other people have experienced us, and have maybe put some of the processes or the ideas that we've put forward into play, and how they've succeeded, because that's really what it's about, is sort of having this community really grow and drive forward and succeed. So I think for those reasons, Ryan, that really sort of giving back, serving the community, and really just being able to have a platform to give other business owners, marketing directors, or people in the marketing space a space to share their thoughts and ideas as well, without having to run this. Because this is quite a task. It's but we have the abilities to do it, or we have the team members to do it. Having other people step in for a couple of minutes, share their views and their thing, they don't have the responsibility to obviously create something like this. So I think all those reasons, it's really about serving, and so keen to see where it grows to.
I remember when you contacted me and you pitched like this idea, right? And then a couple of weeks down the line, we're sitting here, but I remember clearly you saying people just share what they've done well, and it makes success feel like an overnight thing. And I think we have got to be good enough that we have success stories we can share, but we've got to be brave enough to share our failures so that we can actually connect with people well. Because I feel like people connect with failure way more than they can connect with a success story. Success stories are inspiring, but failure can drive you. It's way more authentic. I see you agree with that, Ray.
No, geez, I mean, you guys are getting me fired up now, because it's only really quite recently that I've started consuming more and more social media content. Not to say I was never on it, but I mean, now I'm really looking, and it really was at the emergence of TikTok that I started to get interested in it. But before was more YouTube, skills development, learning from people, and then operating the skill in the market. Now, because we have teams and the company is growing, I need to go more into understanding the market, where we're at and where people are at and how we can position ourselves. So I'm looking a lot more at social media to try and get an understanding of what's happening. And I think to what you guys were also saying, this whole thing about just shoving success in people's faces every 5 minutes is really not good. And I'm not saying everyone's doing it. I think I've come across a lot of genuine content creators that are really impactful. They make me, I'll finish a piece of content and I'm like, that was a nugget of gold.
No.
But I'm seeing far too many people picking up their phones, delivering some line or pitch, because they're trying to sell an affiliate product or they're trying to sell a course or something.
Renting out the Lamborghini and the babe, and
yes, correct,
filming their selfie marketing video.
I mean, even that model, I don't know where that is now. I think that is that's one of the things, but it's gotten to the point where it's become so simple. You take out your phone, you got all these in-app editing tools with AI being plugged in now, and it's the formats I'm worried about. It's how easy it is just to basically project a whole lot of stuff into somebody else's reality. And they're all using the same music, they're all using the same titles. It's almost like it's like this movement. And I don't know how much truth is sometimes in some of these things. Sometimes it is a trend because there's truth behind it. And hey, you can make some money at home, you can make some money online, do these things. Here are my 10 quick tips, and there's some music in the background, XYZ. Cool. But I am seeing that it does seem like there's a lot of fly-by-nights trying to just get their followers and views up. And again, I'm not trying to be the hater in the corner, spreading rumors and issues, but I really think it's important for both content creators and viewers to be very discerning. And I think letting people into the failure side of it's very important. And getting people on board with your message as early on as you can by delivering as much value and truth up front, I think is very important. And like you said, Ryan, you do have to be a bit brave, because people say, oh, we don't judge, and people say, oh, we don't do this, we don't do that. But people do, actually.
You do. It's a default. You have to consciously switch it off.
And you're saying things that people can use against you. You're saying things that you might make a mistake, you might misrepresent. There's a whole lot to it that I don't think we've even fully considered yet, that we got to learn as we go. And hopefully the purpose of the mission will keep us true to form, and there will be bumps and bruises along the way.